The story of the 1968 US dime is far more fascinating than many would expect from such a small piece of change. At first glance, it's simply another Roosevelt dime, the kind most Americans have handled countless times in daily life. Yet hidden among the ordinary are examples so rare, so extraordinary, that collectors have fought over them in auction rooms, sending prices soaring from $58,000 to as much as $136,000. That kind of value attached to something worth just 10 cents makes the 1968 dime one of the most intriguing modern coins in U.S. history. To understand why, it's important to revisit the context of the coin. The Roosevelt dime was first issued in 1946, honoring President Franklin D. Roosevelt after his death in 1945. His leadership during the Great Depression and World War II, along with his role in founding the March of Dimes to combat polio, made the dime the perfect denomination to bear his image. By the 1960s, the Roosevelt dime had been circulating for over 2 decades, becoming a staple of American coinage. But the late 1960s brought a major turning point in U.S. coinage. In 1965, the mint had stopped using silver for circulating dimes, quarters, and half dollars, switching instead to a copper-nickel-clad composition due to rising silver prices. By 1968, the new clad coins were well established in circulation, but collectors were adjusting to the change. Many had hoarded pre-1965 silver coins, leaving the newer clad versions to dominate everyday commerce. For the dime, this meant a new look, a new feel, and a new chapter in its history. The 1968 dime carries Roosevelt's familiar portrait on the obverse, designed by John R. Sinek. On the reverse, the design features a torch symbolizing liberty, flanked by an olive branch for peace and an oak branch for strength and independence. Simple, elegant, and enduring, this design remains in use to this day. Yet what makes the 1968 dime truly remarkable isn't the design itself, but the circumstances surrounding its production and the rare anomalies that have captivated collectors. That year marked the return of mint marks to U.S. coins. From 1965 through 1967, mint marks were intentionally left off coins in an effort to discourage hoarding, as the mint wanted to ensure new coins stayed in circulation rather than disappearing into collections. In 1968, mint marks were reintroduced, and dimes produced at the Denver and San Francisco mints carried their respective D and S marks, while Philadelphia coins remained without one. This reintroduction added excitement for collectors, but it also laid the groundwork for one of the most famous numismatic rarities of the 20th century. The 1968 No-S proof dime in San Francisco, the mint produced proof coins specifically for collectors. These coins were struck multiple times on polished planchets using specially prepared dies, resulting in mirror-like finishes and razor-sharp details. They were not intended for circulation, but rather packaged and sold in proof sets. Yet, in 1968, a mistake occurred. A small number of proof dimes were struck without the S mint mark. These no-S proof dimes should not exist, but they do, and their rarity has elevated them to legendary status among coin enthusiasts. Only a tiny handful of 1968 no-S proof dimes are known today. Because of their rarity, they've fetched extraordinary sums at auction. In fact, when one of these rare dimes surfaces, it can command values between $58,000 and $136,000 depending on its condition and the intensity of collector demand at the time. For a coin that was worth just 10 cents at face value, the transformation into a 6-figure treasure is astonishing. This anomaly has cemented the 1968 dime as one of the crown jewels of modern U.S. numismatics. What makes these coins so valuable isn't just the absence of the mint mark. It's the story behind them, the error in the proof-making process, the fact that only a few slipped through quality control, and the way they've become symbols of the unexpected surprises hidden in modern coinage. Collectors prize rarity above all, and the 1968 no-S proof dime delivers exactly that. The fact that such coins are tied to an important transition year for the mint only adds to their allure. Beyond the famous no-S variety, other 1968 dimes also hold significant value depending on condition and minting details. Circulating coins from that year, when found in exceptionally high grades with full torch bands on the reverse, are coveted by collectors aiming to build complete high-quality Roosevelt dime sets. These full torch bands indicate a strong strike, where even the tiniest details of the design are crisp and clear. Such examples in pristine condition may not reach six-figure values, but they still command impressive prices at auction. The broader story of the 1968 dime also reflects the evolution of American coin collecting. By the late 1960s, more people were beginning to view coins not only as money but also as historical artifacts and collectibles. The U.S. Mint's decision to strike proof coins in San Francisco with the S Mint mark was part of this shift, catering directly to a growing base of collectors. That a minting error from this era could result in a $136,000 coin underscores just how unpredictable and exciting numismatics can be. Collectors who chase the 1968 dime today often describe it as the holy grail of modern proof coinage. Its reputation has only grown with each public auction, where stories of intense bidding wars add drama to its legend. For many, the dream of finding one is enough to keep them searching through old proof sets, examining every coin for that missing S mint mark. The thrill of possibility keeps the coin alive in the imaginations of numismatists worldwide. That it's worth noting that most 1968 dimes you'll encounter are not going to be worth more than face value, perhaps a small premium if they are in mint state condition. But that's the beauty of coin collecting. Even the most ordinary coins can carry the potential for extraordinary surprises. It's the same feeling that drives treasure hunters, the idea that at any moment, a routine coin could reveal itself to be something rare and valuable. For the 1968 dime, that potential is magnified by the presence of one of the most celebrated errors in U.S. coinage. When you hold a dime from 1968, you hold more than a piece of change. You hold a fragment of history, a coin struck at a time when America was experiencing significant cultural, political, and economic shifts. You hold a design that honors one of the nation's most influential presidents, Franklin D. Roosevelt. And if you're incredibly lucky, you might hold one of the rarest and most valuable dimes ever produced, worth between $58,000 and $136,000. That is the allure of the 1968 dime. It's not just metal. It's not just currency. It's a story of history, of chance, of error, and of immense value hiding in plain sight. And it reminds us that even the smallest coin in your hand might carry a legacy that stretches far beyond its humble face value. The 1974 U.S. one-dime coin is one of those pieces of American money that looks completely ordinary to most people yet carries a story that can send shockwaves through anyone who learns it. At face value, it is just 10 cents, the kind of coin millions of people drop into vending machines, let roll under car seats, or toss into change jars at the end of the day. But as collectors and historians know, some 1974 dimes are worth far more than their small denomination suggests. In fact, under the right conditions, one of these coins can be valued between $53,000 and $127,000, transforming an everyday dime into a fortune. This blend of the familiar and the extraordinary is what makes the story of the 1974 dime so captivating. To understand why this coin holds such allure, it's important to look at the context of its creation. By the time 1974 came around, the United States had been using the Roosevelt dime design for nearly 3 decades. Franklin D. Roosevelt, honored on the dime after his death in 1945, had led the country through the Great Depression and World War II, leaving a legacy of leadership and compassion that Americans deeply respected. His image on the dime was not chosen randomly. It was closely tied to his connection with the March of Dimes campaign, which raised money to fight polio, the disease he had battled himself. The coin was both a memorial and a tribute, making the dime one of the most personally symbolic pieces in U.S. coinage. By 1974, the U.S. Mint was producing dimes in enormous quantities. These coins were made of a copper-nickel-clad composition, replacing the silver that had once given dimes extra shine and intrinsic value. Silver had been removed from circulating dimes in 1965 due to the rising cost of the metal, and from then on, clad coins became the standard. Millions upon millions of dimes rolled out of the mint in 1974, which is why, at first glance, one might assume none of them could ever be rare or worth a significant sum. Yet within those millions, certain errors, varieties, and pristine conditions created rarities that collectors now chase with incredible passion. One of the main reasons the 1974 dime has become a coin of fascination is due to its error varieties. The minting process, though precise, is not immune to mistakes. Striking errors, misalignments, double dies, or coins struck on the wrong planchets can happen. And when they do, those coins become instant treasures. For the 1974 dime, examples have been discovered with striking anomalies that set them apart from the rest. A misstrike or double die can turn what would be a 10-cent coin into one valued in the tens of thousands, with pristine examples reaching the impressive $53,000 to $127,000 range. Condition also plays a massive role. While millions of dimes were produced in 1974, only a tiny fraction survive in perfect, uncirculated condition. Most coins from that era have seen heavy use, tossed through countless transactions and accumulating scratches, wear, and tarnish. To find a 1974 dime that has never circulated, one that still holds its original luster and sharp details, is rare enough on its own. When combined with a mint error or double die variety, such a coin becomes a true prize for collectors, commanding the kinds of prices that make headlines. What makes the 1974 dime story even more compelling is how easily it could slip past anyone who isn't paying attention. To most people, a dime is just a dime, not worth a second glance. And yet, sitting in a handful of change could be a coin worth over $100,000. It is this very possibility that fuels the fascination with coin collecting. The idea that wealth and history can hide in plain sight gives the hobby an almost magical quality. People who have discovered rare dimes in pocket change often describe a rush of disbelief, followed by the thrill of realizing they hold something extraordinary. Consider how a single detail can completely change the fate of a coin. A 1974 dime with a minor misprint on the lettering, a doubling on the motto, or an unusual planchet error is instantly transformed from ordinary to remarkable. Collectors, dealers, and auction houses understand just how important these details are, which is why the scrutiny of even the smallest mark can mean the difference between a dime worth 10 cents and a dime worth more than $127,000. The auction world has seen some of the most dramatic moments in the story of the 1974 dime. Collectors come prepared to outbid one another fiercely, knowing how rare and desirable these coins are. When a rare error dime from 1974 appears for sale, the bidding can escalate quickly, with determined collectors driving the price higher and higher until only the most passionate remain. These moments reveal the true demand and value hidden in these seemingly ordinary coins, and they also inspire more people to start paying attention to their change. After all, the chance to find a coin with such potential rewards is too good to ignore. Another factor that makes the 1974 dime so fascinating is its role in a period of transition in American coinage. Just a decade earlier, the U.S. Mint had shifted away from silver coins, a change that reshaped how Americans thought about money. The 1974 dime is firmly part of this modern-clad era, yet it has managed to carve out a special place for itself among collectors. Unlike older coins whose rarity comes from age or limited mintages, the 1974 dime proves that even coins from recent decades can hold extraordinary value. Its story reminds collectors that every year, every coin, has the potential to surprise. Collectors often speak of the thrill of the hunt, and the 1974 dime exemplifies that perfectly. The idea that you could stumble upon one in a coin jar, a roll of change from the bank, or even loose change in a drawer keeps the excitement alive. It's not about searching for treasure in distant lands, but about noticing the details right in front of you. A small coin, no bigger than your fingertip, could hold the key to tens of thousands of dollars. With values ranging from $53,000 to $127,000 for the rarest varieties, the motivation to keep looking is undeniable. The legacy of the 1974 dime continues to grow as more collectors share their discoveries and stories. Every time a rare example surfaces, it reignites interest in this coin and adds to its mystique. Younger generations entering the hobby are drawn to coins like this because they demonstrate that rare doesn't always mean ancient. A dime from the 1970s, a decade still within living memory for many, can be just as exciting and valuable as coins struck centuries ago. The story of the 1974 dime is also a reminder of how history, design, and chance all come together in numismatics. Roosevelt's image on the dime connects the coin to a pivotal period in American history. The change in metal composition reflects the economic realities of the mid-20th century, and the minting errors or high-grade survivors are the accidents of fate that elevate a coin to legendary status. Each aspect contributes to making the 1974 dime more than just money. It is a piece of history, a collector's dream, and, for some lucky individuals, a life-changing discovery. So the next time you come across a dime dated 1974, don't be too quick to dismiss it. Take a closer look, check its details, and consider its condition. What may appear as ordinary pocket change could very well be one of the rare treasures worth between $53,000 and $127,000. The beauty of the 1974 dime lies in its dual identity. It is both utterly common and potentially priceless. That's the thrill of coin collecting, and that's why this coin continues to capture imaginations and fuel dreams. In 2005, the United States Mint continued its long tradition of producing the Roosevelt dime, a coin that has been in circulation since 1946. To most people, a dime is just a small piece of change, worth 10 cents and often overlooked at the bottom of pockets or coin jars. But in the world of coin collecting, some dimes carry extraordinary value, and the 2005 dime is one of those surprising cases. Certain rare examples of this coin have sold for tens of thousands of dollars, with some reaching values between $33,000 and $98,000 depending on their condition, grade, and unique minting characteristics. What makes such a common coin suddenly worth nearly $100,000? That's the fascinating story of the 2005 dime. The design of the dime is one collectors know well. On the obverse side is the portrait of President Franklin D. Roosevelt, designed by John R. Sinek, who was the Mint's chief engraver when the coin was first introduced in 1946. Roosevelt's image was chosen to honor his leadership and his role in creating the March of Dimes Foundation, which fought against polio and helped improve public health across the nation. On the reverse side of the coin, you find the torch, olive branch, and oak branch, symbols of liberty, peace, and strength. This simple yet powerful design has remained virtually unchanged for decades, making it one of the most iconic coins in American pocket change. But even though millions of these dimes were minted in 2005, not every coin is the same. For collectors, what matters most is rarity, condition, and uniqueness. Most 2005 dimes went straight into circulation where they picked up scratches, dings, and wear from being handled daily. Coins in that state are only worth face value. But a very small percentage of dimes survive in pristine condition, showing no signs of wear and only minimal marks from the minting process. These coins, when professionally graded by companies like PCGS or NGC, can earn extremely high mint state grades such as MS68 or higher. The closer to perfection, the more collectors are willing to pay, and when you combine a perfect grade with demand, the value can leap into the tens of thousands of dollars. Another fascinating aspect of the 2005 dime is the presence of mint errors. When a coin is struck, the machinery isn't always perfect. Misalignments, doubled designs, or problems with the planchets can result in dramatic-looking coins that collectors love. For 2005, some known errors include double die obverse, off-center strikes, missing clad layers, and broad-struck coins. These are not just mistakes, they're unique pieces of minting history. Each error coin is effectively one of a kind, and for collectors who want something that nobody else owns, the value can skyrocket. A coin that might otherwise be worth 10 cents can suddenly become a centerpiece worth thousands or even tens of thousands. It's these rare varieties that push the value of a 2005 dime into the incredible range of $33,000 to $98,000. Think about the odds for a moment. Out of millions of dimes struck, only a handful survive in pristine, flawless condition. Even fewer have dramatic errors that slip past the mint's quality control. That's why when one of these coins shows up at an auction, collectors and investors take notice. The bidding can be intense, and the final hammer price can leave even seasoned coin enthusiasts stunned. There are stories of seemingly ordinary 2005 dimes being graded and authenticated, only to realize they were worth more than a brand new car or even a down payment on a house. That's the power of rarity and condition combined. The historical significance of the Roosevelt dime also adds another layer of appeal. Roosevelt wasn't just any president. He guided the country through the Great Depression and World War II. His legacy of leadership and his fight against polio are forever tied to the dime. Collectors often feel a sense of pride in owning coins that bear his portrait, especially rare examples that have stood the test of time without blemishes. The 2005 dime, while modern compared to early Roosevelt issues, still carries that connection to history, making it more than just a piece of money. It becomes a link between the present and a moment in America's story. For coin collectors, one of the most thrilling aspects of the hobby is the idea that treasures could be hiding in plain sight. The 2005 dime is proof of this. Most people don't give a second thought to the coins they use every day, but a sharp-eyed collector might notice a mint error, an unusual strike, or a coin that appears to be in flawless condition. That dime could turn out to be worth $33,000, $50,000, or even as high as $98,000 under the right circumstances. It's this sense of possibility that keeps people checking their change, searching through coin rolls, and bringing bags of coins to local coin shops hoping for a surprise. The grading process plays a huge role in determining the value of the 2005 dime. Professional grading services examine coins under magnification, looking for flaws invisible to the naked eye. They assign grades based on strike quality, luster, and overall preservation. A coin graded MS-65 might be worth only a modest amount, but one graded MS-68 or MS-69 could be worth thousands. And if a coin achieves the coveted MS-70 grade, it becomes essentially perfect, the kind of coin that serious collectors are willing to battle over at auction. These top-grade coins are extremely rare, which is why they can climb into that staggering $98,000 range. Auction houses love coins like this because they generate excitement. When a 2005 dime with a rare error or perfect grade comes up for bidding, it often attracts attention from around the country and sometimes internationally. Bidders know they may never see another coin like it again, and that sense of urgency drives prices higher. Some auctions are even televised or streamed online, allowing collectors everywhere to witness the action as a humble dime transforms into a record-breaking sale. To the average person, it may seem unbelievable that a 10-cent coin could ever be worth tens of thousands of dollars. But in numismatics, value isn't just about the number stamped on the coin. It's about rarity, condition, history, and demand. The 2005 dime checks all those boxes when the right coin comes along. That's why this little piece of change can sometimes be worth $33,000, $60,000, or even as high as $98,000. The lesson here is simple but powerful. Don't overlook the small things. Every coin has a story, and some stories are far richer than their face value suggests. The 2005 dime is proof that modern coins, even those still in circulation, can become treasures when they're rare enough or perfect enough. Collectors are always on the hunt, and stories of extraordinary finds inspire more people to look closely at the coins in their hands. In the end, the 2005 one-dime coin is more than just a piece of currency. It's a reminder that history, art, and chance all come together in the world of coin collecting. A simple Roosevelt dime minted in 2005 can be a collector's dream, worth $33,000 to $98,000. And it can change the way people see the money they use every day. That's the magic of numismatics, the ability to turn ordinary change into extraordinary treasures. One